Welcome to a video tutorial of AuctionRPM. My name is Dan Zumwalt, and I'll be your guide through this discussion of the Add Edit Lots screen. In AuctionRPM, there are two main ways that inventory can be sold. Either it can be sold through a pre-lotted auction, or it can be sold through a non-lotted auction. In the case of where you're selling your inventory via a pre-lotted auction, meaning that the computer is aware of what inventory is being sold before the actual sale, there are two ways that inventory can be introduced into AuctionRPM. Number one, you can utilize the inventory master here. Using this screen, you'll find that you can enter in inventory into AuctionRPM without regard to what auction that inventory is eventually going to be sold in. The typical scenario is where inventory is being accepted in through the back door, and then when the auctioneer actually decides to hold an auction, they can then include that inventory into the auction, assign a lot number to it, and then sell it on the actual day of the auction. Otherwise, inventory can be entered directly into the Add Edit Lots screen here. By doing so, you would assume that you know what lot number and, of course, what auction that inventory is going to be sold in. This is the scenario that we're going to discuss now. From the main menu of AuctionRPM, click on Auctions, then Preparation, then Add Edit Lots. Going into the Add Edit Lots screen, you'll notice that there are two main lists in this screen. On the left, you'll notice that there is a general inventory list. In this list, we currently have the railroad spike, and you'll also notice that this general inventory list is underneath two tabs here. Now, inventory can show up on this list on the left-hand side for one of two reasons. Number one, inventory could be entered into the inventory master. Thus, that inventory that is entered into the inventory master is then regarded as general inventory, waiting to be assigned to an auction. Number two, inventory could have been in a previous auction, but perhaps it didn't sell. Depending on how your settings and defaults are set up, that inventory could then automatically be recycled back into general inventory so that it can be then introduced into a future auction and hopefully sold at that future auction. The two tabs that we have here on the left are entitled General Inventory List and Inventory List Filters. Right now, under General Inventory List, we have a list of general inventory consisting of just this railroad spike. But if I click on Inventory List Filters, you'll notice that there are several fields here that can be used in order to narrow down what records we're looking at. Under normal circumstances, the general inventory list here will have more than just one record. It could have a dozen, dozens, hundreds, or maybe even thousands of records representing inventory that is waiting to be sold at auction. In order to narrow down what inventory you're actually looking at here on the left-hand side of the screen, you can use these inventory list filters to perhaps narrow down the list of inventory just to inventory for a certain category, or inventory that was brought in for a certain consignor. Perhaps you want to just find inventory items that have a certain fragment of description in the short description field, or a certain fragment of a serial number here in this field. Either way, once you've identified the appropriate filter criteria on this left-hand side of the screen, you can then click on the general inventory list, and by doing so, your filters would then be applied, and it would show you the inventory that falls within those filters. In the middle of the screen, in the upper part of the screen, you'll notice that there's an auction selector. Now earlier we have been working with the sample auction for leakless waterworks, and so when we came into the screen, that auction is automatically selected for us. You'll also notice that if I dropped this list down, other auctions, including the new sample auction that we created in a previous video, is also listed here. You'll also notice too on the right hand side that for auction number 1, the Leakless Waterworks sample auction, we have several lots that are listed here. These are the lots that have already been assigned to this future auction and that are waiting to be sold. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to highlight the railroad spike here. In the middle of the screen, I'm going to set the current lot number, or at least make sure that the current lot number is set to a lot number that I want this railroad spike to be. Now, this number, this current lot number that we're looking at here, can be changed utilizing the plus and minus buttons that are just below it. If, for instance, I wanted to move this number significantly higher, I can hit the plus 100, the plus 10, or the plus 1, or I could modify that by simply hitting minus 100 and so forth, setting the lot number to the lot number that I want this railroad spike to be. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm just going to click on this last lot here, lot number 6. That'll set the current lot number to 6. Then I'm going to click on plus 1, and then that will set it to lot number 7, which is what I want the railroad spike to be. So now that the railroad spike is highlighted here, I have my lot number 7 set to what I want it to be. Then I'm going to click on this blue arrow right here, and that will transfer the inventory out of the list on the left-hand side into the list on the right-hand side, utilizing the lot number that I wanted it to be. You'll notice that this railroad spike is now lot number 7, and because the auto increment checkbox is checked, current lot number has now automatically incremented to 8, allowing me now to create lot number 8. So again, if I have entered in inventory into Inventory Master, or if I have inventory that did not sell at a previous auction, you would want to move that inventory from the left-hand side to the right-hand side utilizing this blue arrow key and utilizing the lot number, current lot number field here. At this point, though, let's suppose that we have not entered our inventory directly into the Inventory Master. We have a new piece of inventory that we wish to introduce into an auction, and at this point we do know which auction that item is going to be in and what lot number is going to be. Well, in that scenario, we would not use this list on the left, nor would we use the blue arrow key. What we would instead be using is this button right here, the button that is entitled Add New Item to Current Lot Number. This button with the red icon will allow us to add a brand new item that AuctionRPM has never seen before, and by doing so and hitting save, it would assign that item to this lot number, whatever number is here. In this case, it's lot number 8. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and hit this button now, and by doing so it will pop up the Inventory Quick Add screen. As you can see at the top here, it tells us that we are in the middle of adding lot number 8. What I'll do now is I'm going to click on the short description here, and I'm going to indicate that I'm going to sell a computer. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the rest of these fields here because these fields have already been discussed, and they're identical to the same named fields in the Inventory Master screen. If you'd like some more details as to how to use these fields, please consult the video entitled Inventory Master. At this point, I'm going to hit save. And when I do, we're going to come back to the screen, and you can see here that lot number 8 has been created, which is now a computer. That's how difficult it is, and in reality it's not difficult, to create a lot in the auction. Now I can continue on creating additional lots. If I wanted to create a subletter lot, let's say I wanted to create lot number 5A, all I have to do is highlight number 5, make sure that the lot number is set here to a lot number that already exists, which of course it does. And then if I click on this button again, the one with the red icon entitled Add New Item to Current Lot Number, that will bring up the Inventory Quick Add, but you'll notice at the top here I'm now adding lot number 5A. That's how we can create a subletter lot in the auction. I'm going to hit Done here, and that will allow us to abort from entering in that particular lot. If I happen to know the item number for the inventory record that I'm assigning to an auction, there is another button down here at the bottom that could be utilized. Remember, when you enter an inventory into AuctionRPM through the Inventory Master, each and every inventory record is assigned an inventory item unique ID number. That number could be written onto a tag, a wire tag, or whatever you use in your facility. And then, utilizing this button, you can click on this button. It will give you a lot number field and an inventory item number field. All you have to do is make sure you set the lot number to what you want this new lot to be. You would enter in the inventory item number here and hit proceed, And then that's all you need to do to assign that inventory record to a lot in the auction. There's a few buttons below the lots in this auction list, including renumber single lot, renumber all lots. You can edit a lot. If I wanted to edit this railroad spike record here, I could highlight that record, hit edit lot, and then that would bring up this inventory quick add and edit screen, allowing me to change whatever pieces of information I need to change. I'll hit done here. You also have this button here, return item to general inventory. Remember, general inventory is this list on the left, so if I wanted to put the railroad spike back into general inventory, maybe assigning it to lot number 7 was a mistake, I can simply highlight that lot, hit this button entitled Return Item to General Inventory. It'll ask, are you sure you wish to do this? I'll answer yes, and now that item has been returned back to the list on the left. These buttons here with the double arrowhead allow us to expand either of these lists. Perhaps I don't use general inventory at all. Maybe it's my practice to always pre-lot the auction by directly entering in the inventory utilizing this red button right here, this red icon button here. If that's the case, all I have to do is hit this double arrow button right here, and that will expand the lots in this auction list and get rid of the other list because I don't use it. And so that's one easy option that is available to you right now. At this point now, I'm going to simply click exit here and return back to the main menu, and now my auction has been pre-lotted. At this point, I now have several options available to me, including enter in absentee bids, or actually progressing to the day of the auction and entering in winning bids. We appreciate you listening to this video, and if you have any questions or comments about this video, please don't hesitate to give our office a call. Phone number is 209-588-1232. Thanks for listening.